I remember my brothers would get away with that never would have flied when I was their age. I remember my youngest brother was in 4th grade. He's 7 years younger than me. And he was going to some school, and maybe halfway through the school year, my mom was like, this school sucks. We're taking him out. And my dad's like, what do you mean we're taking him out? Like, just leave him in there until the next school year and we'll switch the schools. And she was like, nope, I'm going to homeschool him for the rest of the year. We're taking him out. And he was so young at the time, but he still had the cognition to be like, this is a dope deal for me. And he knew that she would be too busy with other stuff or just not wanting to teach. And so she would give him things like, she told him, hey, you need to read Tom Sawyer and write a book report on it. And I remember going down there one day, and she would give inordinately long amounts of time because she didn't want to teach him to do these projects. She'd be like, you got a month, read Tom Sawyer and write a book report. And I remember going down there once and seeing him and opening it up and seeing him looking back at me, hoping it wasn't his mom or dad as he's playing with his Legos. And he's like,
Jesus,
Taylor, I got to be honest with you. I haven't read any of Tom Sawyer. I've been playing with Legos for 8 weeks.
Your brother's
and I was
awesome.
like, you know what that means, of course. I need you to go get me a soda. And so for the longest time, like months and months after that, even when he was back in regular school, he spark noted and wrote something. I don't even think my mom read the book to see if he did. And so anytime we wanted something from him, like, he was at the age where he thought, like, even 2 years later when he was 10 or whatever, he still thought that was a huge deal. So it'd be like, just code word, we'd say, get this for me. No, screw you. Tom Sawyer. And then he would go and do it for years.
See, I misunderstood. I thought when you told him to go get you a soda, you were sitting down to write him a book report because you're a good brother.
No, I was saying go get me a soda, or I'm going to tell mom and dad that you've been faking reading this whole thing.
I thought you were like, I read it 3 years ago. Go get me a soda. I'll start to work. No. You're just immediately segueing to blackmail.
Yeah, and it worked. I got a lot of sodas and snacks.
That's older sibling vibe right there. I knew right away, Taylor. Oh, yeah. You got him. You got him right where you want him.
He's been dead to rights.
You're done, kid.
Yeah. He'll even look back now and be like, do you guys remember when you just made me do chores for you for years because of Tom Sawyer? I was like, yeah, you should have just read the book, dude.
Jackie's sisters, she was the youngest of 3, and they always did nice things for each other. If you wanted, one would just be like, hey, will you make me a tea? And they're like, yeah, sure, I can do that. 30 years later, I'm still on that train. I could ask her for a coffee right now. She does it. It's just the culture in their family. It's nice.
What nice people.
Nice. Yeah.
How odd.
How odd. Oh, Kyle, you were so calculated. Like, you wouldn't have done exactly what I did.
It would depend if I'd read Tom Sawyer before. It seems like it's going to be more conducive to like a good living environment if I write the book report for him, which would be easy for me, and then he would just do things for me because I wrote him a book report.
And you have stronger blackmail. He eventually wrote his own book report, right?
No, he like lifted from Spark Notes.
Jesus Christ!
Like just straight up.
So homeschooling didn't go so well, huh?
No, he went back to school the next year, and this is the same brother who he was like, he actively didn't want to do well in grade school. It'd be like 3rd, 4th grade, and it'd be like, you're about to fail 4th grade. Like, how? And he's like, I'm just not doing any of the homework. And they're like, yeah, you're not doing it. Do you not know how to do it? He's like, no, I know how to do it. Like, but so you're just not doing it. Correct. Yeah.
That was beginning of high school.
Like, they told him, like, yeah, he just was like, I don't care, and would not do the schoolwork, and would go in with like a folder full of undone work every day, throw it in front of the teacher that he hated, and be like, and like his punishment at one point for that, this is before he got pulled out of the school, was every day you come home from school, you go in your room and you read the Bible until dinner, and then you go to bed. And he had hundreds of dollars of Legos in his room. And once again, after like a month of that, of continued punishment, I would like walk in on accident or not knocking first, and just he would admit like, hey, Taylor, I haven't read even a page of the Bible. I don't know how mom and dad don't know what's going on, because every time they come in here, this like dope castle I'm building gets better and better.
Don't you think they knew? Don't you think they're go there, read the Bible was code for get out of my hair?
I could just see like my dad getting home from a stressful day at work and just being like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to go enjoy my dinner and sit down with a glass of wine or something. But yeah, he got away with murder. That would have never flown for me. Like if I got like a B minus.
Try?
No,
I just test them.
Never. Like I was always pretty good with school. I would get stressed out if I didn't have tasks completed. And so I would like go through my list and get stuff done. And then I would enjoy myself. I never understood how he could do that, how anyone could do that. Like in college, I had so many friends who ended up dropping out because they'd be like, yeah, it's Sunday night, just off a 3-day drinking bender, huge paper due in the morning, don't care, right, boys? And it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, this isn't free. Like, this is really expensive to be here, man. Like, you're just throwing money in the toilet if you're not passing your classes. But anyway, that was good times, good times. Everyone should have younger siblings. Or siblings. I feel bad for only children because they don't. They're just doing nothing.
When I was like 4, my little sister fell in the swimming pool and she was drowning, and I got my dad's attention and he saved her life. I've regretted that moment for almost 3 decades.
30
now.
years.
Yeah. 30 years later, if I could go back, if I could just have that one fucking Marty McFly moment where I could go back and fix things. That's the moment I'm going back to. And I find little Kyle and he's like, Daddy. And I'm just like,
grab the wrist. Kyle, why are you throwing flotation stones at your sister? Yeah. Yeah. And then you could have been an only child.
Yes. Oh, that would have been so much better.
Double the inheritance. Fucking everything.
She doesn't get anything.
Oh. Well, I'm not privy to your father's will.
I am.
It's good that he has a will. I did.
Yeah, I'm like you,
I
Kyle.
never got in big fist fights with my brothers or anything. Like part of it is because I was always so much bigger, it just wasn't an option.
Yeah,
but
that's not how that works. As a younger brother, I can tell you it doesn't.
That was like actually, I did have 4 brothers before the accident.
So I will say the only times I gave my brother a concussion, it was on accident. It was never malicious. But I was at a friend's house once, and like I thought the whole like brothers beating each other was more of a meme, where it's like, yeah, you'll get in a tussle where like you're wrestling, you're fing around, but once they're on the ground, you're not just going to start laying hammers into their face. And I guess this must have been middle school. I went over to his house the first time, and I think he had that. And it was like, when someone invited you to their house a lot and you didn't really want to hang out with them that much, and eventually you do, and they're in like impress this person mode. Like, sure. And so It was like that. And he was like from Southern Arkansas or something. And so he was, his name was Josh. His brother was Jared or something. And he was like, Jared, where's the other N64 controller? I got one. Yeah, where's yours? Taylor needs another. We're playing Mario Kart. It's like, I ain't giving you that controller. You broke the nub off mine last time I let you use it. Jared, you bring that control. And I was at this point, I'm like, whoa. Like, there's parents in the house. You can't say that. Bring that controller down, or I'm going to come get it up there. And I was like, we can go outside or something. It's like, no, we're playing Mario Kart. I just got it. We're playing. And so he goes up there. He's like, follow me. We're getting that controller. We go up there. And I thought it was going to be like hey, I got it. Like that kind of thing. He went in there and his brother had the controller like sitting on it in like defensive, we've done this before posture. And then they got in an honest to God fist fight in front of me, beating the shit out of each other. And the one guy ends it by, because he wrestled, he was on the wrestling team with me. He's got his younger brother's arm in like the bent behind his back, but in the raised bent behind his back, like he could break it out of the elbow anytime. He's like, you gonna hold out on that controller anymore? You gonna give my friends controllers and they come over? And it was like, I don't even want to play Mario Kart anymore.
I'm gonna have to lose to this guy.
That guy was a lunatic. An absolute lunatic. I remember because I wrestled with him in the same weight. We didn't have enough wrestlers in middle school. He was at 125 pounder. I was a 135 pounder, and there was nowhere else for this other guy to go. we had a 160 pounder with us, 160, 165. And this little guy, Josh, was so much better than both of us. Thank God he liked me. There were times where I thought he was going to do that same thing and break my arm, but he absolutely bullied the shit out of this other kid and tried to include me in it. And this other kid, I'll add, was the kid I was always nice as fuck to, because I knew if someone was going to show up with an AR one day, it might have been this gentleman, and I wanted to be safe.
You want to go to the green list?
Yeah, I wanted to make the green list, and I always imagined, oh, Taylor, don't come to school tomorrow, like that kind of thing from him.
Yeah.
Because
would you tell, or would you just not show up?
I would absolutely tell. I wouldn't show up, and I would tell.
Oh, come on!
If someone told you they're going to shoot up your school, you wouldn't tell.
Well, what if they didn't shoot it up? What if they chickened out? And you look like such a jerk.
Yeah, man.
Having told everybody.
He's showing you favor, right? He's recognizing that you're a chill dude. And you're just going to immediately go turn that on its head and rat him out.
He's way cooler to you than you are to him.
Yeah.
What if it's
you're
a
bad friend?
What if he's testing you to see if you belong on the list?
You're a bad friend.
You know what? You're right. The first threat, I'll play along.
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah,
I got a sister, so I grew up in a world without violence, but I think there's 9 boy cousins on my Mexican side. I remember when, I think we were 10 through probably 17, and we were all hanging out at a family.
I went to this one guy's house once who had a brother. He actually had a younger brother and an older brother, and that had shaped them into different kinds of human beings than I was used to. We went down to their basement, and their basement was like a big playroom. There was a big pool table in the middle of the room, and there were just toys scattered everywhere, just of every kind, everything from He-Man swords to Legos. And I guess I'm maybe 11 or 12, something like that. Formative years. And we were going to play with some toys, and then all of a sudden the lights flipped off and it's completely dark. And I've never been in this room before, so I'm just like, hey, where'd you guys go? And I just hear and shuffling of feet, like, and I'm just like, and now I'm afraid. I'm like, what is this? I am in a basement. This is kind of scary. And I'm barefooted and I'm put on Legos and like trying to get toward the door, trying to get out. This is a game they play. It's called blackout mode or something, where they arm themselves and then cosplay as Ninja Turtles or He-Man or whatever is like a Power Ranger, and they just beat the out of each other in the dark. They come across the back of my knees with a He-Man sword and take me down.
See, that's fun. That's good old-fashioned fun.
It was terrifying. You had your own little group of Avengers.
I was a weird kid.
You got a good memory.
I'm starting to learn that.
Yeah, I was an odd kid.
I don't know if I remember playing with action figures. Were you 13, 14?
This is last year.
It's 3 days ago. Monday. I just remember always thinking this is so stupid. Look at how big Bane's arms are. Of course he can beat you up. We can't play all these rules coming in. I did the same thing with a buddy of mine, Eric, who I wanted to play with his really expensive toy setup that he wasn't supposed to play with because his dad collected them. And I got bullied. Well, a little bullied. Was like, come on, dude, we're gonna look at these toys. You never play with these toys, these GI Joes and these toy soldiers and everything.
Sissy hypnoed him, and then
he hypnoed him right into it. And then I remember I was picking all my pieces and setting up my army and everything cool. And he was like, while you were picking all those, I went to my dad's other cabinet and got the Challenger space bomber, and so I'm going to fly above where your anti-air can even reach and blow up everything you have. And it was this isn't how games are played.
That kid's kind of an asshole, huh?
I never went back to his house. That guy sucked.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to play any action figure games with him. I didn't play with action figures after.
He was fucking weird. And I remember we were playing, sitting down in his basement, and his brother was just watching us play, being a little weird. And then just out of nowhere, we're playing, and his brother just sitting on the couch, just goes, they just threw up two peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. As we're playing, we just hear, just look over, and my friend acted like, oh no, he just does that sometimes. So.
See, I didn't grow up with brothers, so I didn't get that. I didn't get to play any games like that and do stuff like that unless I had a friend over or something. Yeah, I never got that stuff. So most of the games and stuff I did, I had to find stuff that I could do by myself. So I was in, video games or like play some make believe where you're like the ship commander and you've got all your house's electronics just pushing fucking buttons on a VCR like you're fucking flying a spaceship. It was rough. That's why I got into guns. There wasn't much else to do. I went to
Did you ever do that when you were a kid where your parents were like, all right, outside time, and you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna kind of walk into the woods. What can I imagine? What am I? Oh, I'll be Aragorn, or I'll be, and you just make up a story.
Nah, that's super lame.
What? No, you didn't play pretend. I had a vivid imagination. I have a vivid imagination.
Taylor, so you were just kicked outside and meant to go play
all the time. Yeah, it would be like, all right, outside time, and I'd stand there with my brother and be like,
somehow
we get airsoft, we get to go in the woods.
Disappeared after I became a parent. We've never been able to just be like, all right, kids, get out.
It wouldn't let us come back in until it was dark.
Oh, straight up. Yeah, Taylor, I had those same rules. Yeah, it was like, there's no way you're watching TV on Saturday morning.
I tried to pop back in at like 4 to be like, oh, I'm going to grab a soda. They'd be like, you thought we wouldn't be in the kitchen and you're going to try and watch TV. And it's like, bitch. Back outside I go.
Yeah, we have never just told our kids to go outside and not come back. It would have made parenting easy.
I imagine. That's why they did it.
That'd be cool.
I like it. I like shittier than the Justice League in the tier department. Wait, which one has Superman in it? Because Superman beats everyone.
The Justice League.
Superman, no. Taylor,
I think I have a pretty solid understanding. I'll have you know, I watched Iron Man. I watched Iron Man 1. I watched the first Avengers.
Marvel has like giant characters that eat galaxies to sustain themselves.
That sounds like scare propaganda from the Avengers. Keep people subservient to their superpowers. I don't care for them.
They go from like universe to universe, consuming galaxies and eating suns. And
I think he just eats planets, right?
What? That's a bad guy, and the Hulk's gonna beat him up.
Galacticus. He might just eat planets.
It's Galactus. Yeah, and the Silver Surfer is like his servant
Herald.
Yeah,
he's like a scout that goes out and makes sure that they're proper planets to eat or something like that.
Yeah, and he's just rolling around eting those planets up. But yeah, they beat him back a few times. I don't think they
didn't like the Silver Surfer. I remember my last memory with the Silver Surfer is going over to a friend's house and playing action figures, and I had this really cool looking Bane with like all the wires plugged into the back of his head, and he wanted to like play the lore of like, well, I'm playing the Silver Surfer and he can eat or he can fly 1,000,000 miles an hour. And so actually before you can even punch him, he's going to fly so fast at him that he'll disintegrate. And it was like,
ask you a question.
Dude, Alex, you're a bitch and I don't want to play with you anymore.
Is this the same kid that laid the fat turds?
No, different kids.
Okay. You hung out with quite the crowd.
What about like a riddle, Will? Do you recommend that at all?
That's the funniest possible. I can't. Dude,
wrong social security numbers and stuff like that.
No, it's just
a riddle.
Actual riddles.
He who casts 3 stones gets the card.
I want to have a push-up contest.
That would be the ultimate thing if you're like a billionaire with a will. Just a fake puzzle. A fake puzzle that doesn't lead anywhere. That would be hilarious.
I feel like you could do that with like $100. Like somebody's gonna want to do it, you know.
Oh,
no matter how,
dude, it's funnier if it's lower because you get dumber people to do it.
Yeah,
you know, for $15, you get some real fools to working that hard. Dude, it's like 30 days from the election or so, and we've barely talked politics this year. The first debate happened. Dick, did you watch it?
I got a sister, so I grew up in a world without violence. But I think there's 9 boy cousins on my Mexican side. I remember when, I think we were like 10 through probably 17. And we were all hanging out at a family reunion. We were all hanging out at my parents' house, and we found 2 pairs of boxing gloves in the garage. I don't know why my parents had them. They should have locked them up like fire extinguishers when all of us were around. But it was we put them on and decided to do some amateur boxing in the garage, even though there was like 2 years between all of us. One of the sets was these comically large 16-ounce gloves, and the other ones were like these little 8-ounce gloves. Yeah. So bigger kids. When we were we weren't working on our smarts, said that we were, kind of cobbling together smarts, but we thought that because the bigger kids were stronger, that they should have the smaller gloves, and the little kids, because they were lacking in power, should have the big gloves. That
it works like a video game, like buffs.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, the first fight was like my oldest cousin and his brother, and it was a really savage beatdown that I still remember. Those whipping those spider arms with 8-ounce gloves down on his little brother. With the punishing him with the impunity of, well, we both agreed to this, so it's totally fine. That didn't last long. That was a day.
I lived in Ocean City, so I was probably about 14 or so, and I made a friend who was strong. Right, he hit puberty and just fucking hulked out, even though he was 14, and he was my friend. I, on the other hand, looked 11, so he came over, and my brother was like, just being an older brother, like low grade bullying or whatever.
How much older is he than you?
2 years. Okay. And my friend is like, what? Oh, no, that's not how this goes. And my friend is more than happy to engage with my older brother. Even though he's 2 years older, he's like, I'm your Huckleberry. So we end up like 2v1ing my brother. We hold him down. We're giving him cherry belly.
Cherry belly.
Oh, yeah.
Pink bellies.
My brother had a bit of a weight problem, so it was like just like rocking his
Wait,
belly.
But tell me, Woody, the whole time you were slapping, were you chanting pink belly, pink belly, pink?
It's cherry belly in my area, but okay. Yeah, and just all sorts of just like bullying. Like, we didn't hurt him, but I got to win. So my
you
parents,
heard him. He thinks about this every night before bed.
Oh, well, to hang in there. So my parents are like, Woody, we don't like that you guys did this. And I'm like, what? What? I've been losing fights for 14 years. You didn't think shit about that. What the fuck? I finally win a fight and now we have rules? No, that's not how this goes. And they're like, touche.
Kick their ass.
Yeah. They were like, yeah, I guess we let him kick your ass for 14 years. You win. Fair is fair.
It panned out.
Yeah. So
that man hears cherry. If he hears cherry belly tonight, he's gonna fucking flinch,
dude. I don't know. You fuck with the same guy for decades. You deserve it.
How about another joke?
What every school shooter says.
That's what every school shooter says. What do you get when you take a socially distant loner and put him in a society that abandons him? This is what. then he
is this from the Joker? It sounds like
yeah.
Another great movie. I need to rewatch that again. Really.
Do you get along better with younger siblings, Woody? With your shared trauma?
I only have an older brother. Did that answer your question?
No, like other people who are the younger one. Do you get along with them?
Well, no, maybe. My wife's the youngest.
There you go. Yeah.
Really
whenever I meet an older sibling, I'm like, yeah, fuck them, right? Fuck the little ones. Yeah, totally. All right. Fuck the little ones. Yeah. They bitch all the time. They bitch all the fucking time. Yeah. They don't understand how much trail had to be blazed by us.
Pin them down for 14 years and abuse them, and now they're like, stop it.
Yeah. You guys were talking about all this serious stuff, and I was like, "Oh goddamn!" The Irish Supreme Court says that Subway bread doesn't qualify as bread.
I know, too much sugar. Too much sugar. It's not.
Is that
bread.
all the bread or just the white bread though?
No, it's all the bread. All the bread. They're like, "Go fuck yourself." It's too high sugar.
They have like 9-grain wheat bread there. How does that have too much sugar?
That has too much sugar, dude. And I am telling you this as a fact. I have not clicked on the article yet.
Dude, I read an article about that. I don't know why it matters that it's not bread, but it just I think all restaurant food is super bad for you, no matter where you go. They just give you so much butter, so much oil, so much fat, so much salt. It's fantastic. But you can hardly order a healthy meal and get a healthy meal. They make the food taste good. That's how they do it.
Woody, have you ever looked up where you'll be like, damn, I want to make Mongolian beef, but I want to make it the way P.F. Chang's does. and then you look up the way they do it, and it's like, yeah, it's like normal Mongolian beef, but secret. Full stick of butter, 3 times the amount of oil. And it's like, oh, this is... I didn't want to learn this.
Put some sugar on it, too, and serve it. Yeah.
And then you just paste sugar on top of your fat meat and then go, oh, it's lean.
Like restaurant food is terrible for you and delicious.
It's so good. That's why restaurants stay in business.
They're not worried at all about your health. They just want you to come back and ignore the truth. So Subway bread's not bread. Too much sugar.
Yeah, Subway bread is not bread.
According to Ireland.
That's true. I haven't trusted the Irish.
Touché. Yeah.
That's where I get all my bread news.
From Ireland. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. What the fuck? Where do they get off? What do they know about bread? They make.
Is there a lawsuit about bread? Like that someone is suing because they didn't get the ingredients on their sandwich?
Let me scan it.
I don't think they want Subway to be able to call their sandwiches anymore because technically the bread on them isn't bread.
Oh. I got to call them stacks. We got Subway stacks of produce and meat and products.
So I guess they're trying to categorize it as a staple food, which doesn't get taxed.
Oh.
But because it's more like junk food, you have to pay 10% tax.
And probably some sort of like welfare card doesn't work for it as well.
The sugar content in Irish bread isn't supposed to be more than 2%. I don't know how it could be more than 2% sugar, and it's 10%. So
they're not even close.
Sugar. Not even close.
It's 5 times the maximum amount of sugar.
And in fairness to Ireland, Subway's bread is fucking terrible. It is awful. I don't care when they do the song and dance about like, wow, we're pulling this out of the just baked oven. It's like, go fuck yourself. You have a neck tattoo. Like, there's no way you baked that fresh.
It smells good.
There's no way you showed up early like an artisan baker and made this 9-grain wheat.
What franchise would you want to own? Subway's often considered a good one.
I would say Subway because people go to Subway to
Subways are literally on the decline. They're closing more and more stores every day.
Well, I mean, that makes sense because they have more locations than Starbucks.
And there's not as much markup. I think Five Guys are always growing. I think that place that you and I always talk about, Cookout, their franchises are rather cheap. And whenever they like add one to a place, it just explodes. And they've got these lines literally around the block with attendants in the parking lot directing traffic.
It depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a plug and play franchise to make money and be off doing your own thing, Subway would be excellent. If you're looking for I am going to be on the site most of the time, making sure this runs well, somewhere like Cookout or, we have barbecue places like that here too.
Why do you feel like Cookout takes more personal attention than Subway?
Because there's a higher standard of quality. Like when people go to Subway,
I've seen enough Jim Gaffigan bits to know that there's not a lot going on at Subway.
I'm just saying that everywhere you go that's fast food and successful has an established standard of quality. When you go to McDonald's, you know exactly the flavor of beef you're going to get, and you get that flavor every time. And a lot of what building a successful fast food franchise is having supreme consistency. You don't want one location to be terrible, one location to be awesome. Subway has every location bad in the same way.
Waffle House too.
Waffle House too. And so you go in there and you pay.
We're not friends anymore.
you pay a few dollars for a sandwich the size of your head, and when you're eating it and you go, "This isn't very good," you go, "No shit. I paid $5 for a sandwich the size of my torso."
You really don't like Waffle House?
I do like Waffle House. I just feel like the standard is low. It meets my expectations every time. I'll order steak and eggs. That's just the worst steak ever, just like I expected.
Yeah, I've never enjoyed Waffle House sober.
If you're ordering steak at Waffle House, they are they sell more T-bones than any other restaurant in the world, as is noted on that picture that every one of them has on the wall. They're awful. The eggs there are actually really good, though. I like their eggs as much as I like
probably put sugar in them.
You can see what they're doing to them right there because Elon is over there fucking mixing it up 6 feet away from you, splattering you with oil. There's a ton of oil in there, and then there's just fucking eggs.
I read somewhere that the cooks at Waffle House have better violence de-escalation skills than the police. I was like, maybe.
Steak and Shake too.
Steak and Shake is pretty fucking good. They got so many fucking milkshakes at that place. Yeah, we've got them in Atlanta. They're very popular. But yeah, Waffle House is maybe Waffle House would be the way to go because they're open 24 hours a day. You can just staff them with ex-convicts. You know
you can do that with McDonald's too, and you don't have to be scared.
There's a lot of moving parts in a McDonald's. There's a lot of menu items. There's a lot of stuff going on back there. A lot of computers and shit. Waffle House is just that one grill and that waffle maker. That's it.
And you think you would run a successful Waffle House?
I don't think there's an unsuccessful Waffle House in the fucking world.
As long as you love it,
sounds right.
That's absurd.
Shut up, Dick. We're making money here.
I want to get into, you guys are obsessed with money.
Passion.
I want to get into Chick-fil-A and be very, very homophobic all the time to get people into my restaurant.
As long as you love it, then you'll be okay. But yeah, Chick-fil-A sucks to own. What was I going to say? You know what sucks to own that I was into? I used to want to own a movie theater. Like that was the dream. A good movie theater, with the nice chairs and like a restaurant movie theater. I would be totally broke right now if I dumped everything into a movie theater. That was the worst idea.
Take a look at this idea.
I remember that.
It's the first 2015 1 hour photo stand.
Yeah, maybe. You talked about this like maybe 4 or 5 years ago or something, I think. And I remember I was probably like, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Get after it. You're selling that popcorn at such a markup. You can't lose money.
You can't lose. Yeah, I had this. I really like the movie theaters that are from 10 years ago where everyone's jammed into shitty seats that don't recline. But there's a movie theater I go to where it's a big leather like Lazy Boy with electric recline and stuff. And I was like, "Ooh, you could do that," or even Next Level where the food gets good. Is it Alamo that does that?
Alamo does that.
Draft House.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I started looking into what it costs to make one and such, and just decided not to. I don't know. I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket because it's pretty expensive. God. Right. Oh my gosh. I'd be so broke. But
do you like those theaters where it's like a full meal comes out? Because we have some here that I've been to, and it's so annoying for me to try to eat in the dark, like cutting chicken, and it really takes me out of the movie.
Like actual food. See, there's your mistake. I've gone to those places. Just order hand food.
Yeah.
If you're cutting chicken in the middle of a movie, that's absurd, and you're a dick for doing it. You're scratching the plate, guaranteed.
I haven't been to one as nice as an Alamo. What we have is is in between, so you can get like chicken fingers, like Taylor's talking about, maybe even a burger or a hot dog.
Just get a burger. That's
you can't get something that involves a fork and a knife there. But they do have seats that I haven't been to Alamo, but I have to imagine these seats compare well because they're big, leather, wide. You take the middle up, you can cuddle your wife while you watch the movie.
Dude, I ordered popcorn shrimp at one of those places at an AMC once, and I swear to God, in the kitchen, they were like, we ran out of shrimp, and they're like, just deep fry balls of everything we coat the shrimp in, and they just served me that because there was not a bit of shrimp in that entire just breading.
You got hush puppies with tails.
Yeah, I got hush puppies with old tails cemented in. It's funny. There's no meat. It's just
This is like a year ago, but I went to Panda Express and I had never had coconut shrimp before. And it was like, coconut shrimp, you can have it, but it's an extra $1. And I'm like, ooh, it must be good. Dude, it's seafood candy. I'm convincing myself this is a reasonable dinner to just eat like shrimp coated with glazed sugar. Coconut shrimp is the bomb.
I do the same thing. When I go to Panda Express, every time I'm like, I'll get the beef with broccoli. And then my voice comes out, double serving orange chicken. And then I'm eating it. I'm like, no, it's like, at least it's definitely got vitamin C, right? There's an orange in here somewhere.
There were no oranges killed in the making of that chicken.
Yeah. No, the fact that I have to shit right now. There were no oranges in there.
Dude.
Oh, man. I do like, as far as fast food is concerned, I rank Panda Express decently high.
What?
Like their fried rice is so greasy and so oily that I like it.
Disgusting.
You
think it's disgusting?
God, yeah, it's awful. It's so far at the bottom of my list.
I
Really? Okay, what?
It's
Tell me
way
something else
below
that's
Arby's and Hardee's and
It's below
Burger King.
Arby's, you fucking idiot.
I don't feel that strongly about any fast food restaurant.
Arby's,
Kyle, you
honest.
scum of the earth.
Arby's
How
is
dare you
horrific.
put it below Arby's?
Arby's. Lots of people talking about Arby's. It's for retards and the indigent.
Ooh.
You talking about roast beef, you piece of shit.
Oh, I like Arby's. I'm not a fucking retard.
Yes.
Uh,
No, Arby's is terrible. They
haven't
literally
given Arby's a chance in
emulsify
like
all
20
of their
years.
meat, put it in a bag, and then they slice it as though it's real the first time.
It's true. It comes in
Terrible.
a bag. The meat
It's-
comes in a bag. It's in
Yeah.
a big congealed, goopy glob.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not real. They have the slider machine like they're slicing it, but they're slicing emulsified meat logs. They're
Yeah,
not.
It's like a hot dog. It's like they make a gigantic hot dog and then they cut it into like roast beef slices.
and
It's
that's
not-
better than Panda Express.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes,
I'm with you, Taylor.
This isn't
I
about
mean-
how good Arby's is, Taylor. This is about how bad Panda Express
You need to have
is.
the coconut shrimp at Panda Express. It's pretty much soft
I'll
serve
pass.
shrimp or something. It's great.
I haven't had Chinese food in a long time.
I haven't had this in a year and a half, but I'm hungering for it right now.
Yeah, another.
I'm good
another
for
one
one
that gets
McDonald's
like that.
binge a month. Like we'll
McDonald's
go
is
get
always
drunk
just-
and then
I-
do like
I'm-
an Uber drive-through where it's everything on the menu, like 2 filet of fish, a double quarter pounder, 2 Big Macs, probably 6 fries. I mean, just fill up a bag and you count it off. Tell me how many there were.
Just go bananas.
McDonald's always disappoints me, and so I'd stop going. And it's not like I hate McDonald's; I just keep having a bad McDonald's experience where like it's cold or not fully done or it's falling apart, and I keep getting misses.
Yeah, when I
That's
go to
the worst.
McDonald's and like you get the cheese that's not even vaguely melted,
Cold
which
French
is
fries.
common. It's cold cheese, cold French fries. One of those places that I know is going to let me down every time, and that I still crave, usually once a year, once my memory has lapsed enough that I forget, is White Castle. Is once a year I will eat 35 White Castle burgers, and at the time be like, "This is so great. This is awesome. It tastes like shit. It's good though in a way. I'm eating all this cabbage," and then the next day, you shit. And
And
the
for
next
all of-
day, that's very generous. 40 minutes later, you shit, and it smells exactly like you're right back inside White Castle.
We gotta get
People
some
will
like
talk
fiber and some probiotics in your diet, Taylor. Every time we talk about food, you're like, and then you just immediately have diarrhea. Like, every time
You guys ever had an apple and a banana? Oh, just like blows right through. They're talking about like healthy stuff and these kale shakes, motherfucker.
Taylor, that's not what
Loosen
cheese
me up.
does to you.
Yeah, Kyle, you go out tonight and you eat 10 White Castle burgers, and then
What's
see
with
the
your
amount of time
numbers?
between you stop eating them and when
Taylor-
you start shitting.
Taylor once told me that he had a weakness for cheese sticks, right? This is like the string cheese, and he had 7. And I mentioned it to my wife, and she's still like, 7? How can you have 7? 7's a lot of cheese.
7, and I know it was that because like my girlfriend goes to bed earlier than me because she has to be up earlier, and so like I'll go and enjoy my evening sitting in my living room, and my snacks as I eat them throughout the night, the wrappers will accumulate on. And there was, and I know it was 7 because she came home one day after work and was like, "Hey, did you have 7 cheese sticks last night?" And I was like, "No, it couldn't have been that many." And she's like, "Well, I found 7 wrappers and I bought a pack of 12 and there's 5 left." And I was like, "Well,
Must have been a
How do you know it
mistake
was
in
me?
store, huh?
you have no evidence of any of this. This is all circumstantial. I can't be convicted."
actually like
got into them.
I actually like White Castle. In the South, we have Crystal. It's a lot more common.
Same shit.
It's exact same shit, but it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah.
I made homemade Crystal burgers one time. You take the ground beef and like flatten it on a griddle, and you punch like you cut it, you pre-cut it into the squares. You like score the ground beef, and you press it till it's like super thin, like 1/8 of an inch, and then you put like 5 dots on each patty, and you freeze it, and you've got like this frozen sheet of ground beef that you then lay on top of onions on like a big griddle, and you
It's
cook
actually
it on top.
onion flavored cabbage.
It's well, I use onions, and you cook that block of beef on top of the onions, and the onion steam like goes through the holes that you put into the meat. It's really fucking good.
Do you know that's why Crystal and White Castle give you such bad and immediate gas? Is because they found out a few decades ago that if you replace onions with onion flavored cabbage, you save an enormous amount of money, and people can't tell the difference.
And people can't tell.
It's onion flavored cabbage on White Castle burgers. That's why you eat that, and immediately you're just like, this is dire.
I never had.
They unleashed a farting
I don't think
epidemic.
I've ever had White Castle.
It's these tiny little burgers, like they're literally like this big. Like
the grease stains on either side of the burger combine to about 3 times the total girth of the burger itself.
Yeah, I'm aware of how their burgers are small for some reason, but I have never been inside of White Castle.
It's a depressing place.
You know what's overrated? In-N-Out. I don't know why the West Coast guys
Woody,
think
don't
In-N-Out.
you dare say that.
Everyone on the West
fucking
Coast
dare.
thinks In-N-Out is some wonderful dining experience, and it's just shitty food.
You unsophisticated, you ignorant slut, Woody.
what, you don't like your fries sloppy and wet?
No, you have to get them extra well done. There's a whole process. You've got to learn it. That's
so you
part
get
of
them
it's like
crispy and then you douse them.
Douse them in what? What are you dousing them?
I don't know. Whatever that cheese sauce is that they pour over everything.
Oh yeah, man. You got to get animal style everything. You got to get extra crispy. It's like you can trace your whole life through what you learned ordering it In-N-Out. I was here when I learned about animal style. I was here when I learned that you could just stack an infinite number of patties next to each other until it filled.
It's where they just pour sauce all over everything.
Yeah. Protein style. What is it? Where there's no buns? Don't you dare! Everything's fresh at In-N-Out. The line is a mile long.
La di da! I've been eating that rotten meat they have over at Mickey D's, but they've got the fresh stuff.
You guys are eating out of a bag. It's disgusting. You're eating roast beef and coconut shrimp
Dick,
out of a ladle.
I think we have the same mic, but I like your shock mount much more. What is it?
That's a Rode something. I don't know. It's $100.
The mic or the shock mount?
Oh, the shock mount. Yeah.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just picked that up off Amazon. You don't like that yours looks like a claw machine?
Right. I just feel like
cool.
It blocks more of me than it needs to. Like more of the whole scene. Like it's a freaking dominant like piece of what you see.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck.
Machine. No, I've had In-N-Out twice, and I wasn't blown away or anything. It was okay.
Yeah.
You got to have it 20 times. That's when it really kicks in.
Yeah.
I don't think anything beats Five Guys.
Animals. No one leaves Five Guys hungry.
No, those French fries are so fucking good, and they're like just a regular cheeseburger is more than enough food for a human being. But for some reason they do double cheeseburgers instead as well. I avoid Five Guys because I think it's way more calories than other meals. Oh, it's so bad for you. The calories, like a large fry, is like 1,400 calories. You don't need a large. You can hardly finish a small. No one needs a large. Nobody needs a large at Five Guys. If you're watching this and you've never been to Five Guys, that's amazing in itself. But all right, both of you, listen up. A small fry there is enough fries. Like you could empty out a human skull and fill it with French fries. This is how Fahrenheit was invented. I think you just randomly like this is
human skulls of fries.
Yeah, like we use feet. I mean, fuck, why not skulls?
Sure.
So yeah, that's about right. You could fill a human skull with a small fry at Five Guys. It's all you need to eat. The large fry is literally, they take like a 20-ounce cup and fill it heaping full of French fries, and then they just pour more over. They put the 20-ounce cup over the bag, and then just heap them on it as it overfills into the bag. The bottom of the bag has like a McDonald's small fry of fries in it. At least
Five Guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
The worst fries in America, and they think they can hide it from you if they give you a lot of them.
Are you getting the curly fries?
No, I'm getting the regular fries when I go there.
Get the Cajun fries.
I'm just saying the regular fries, I've never opted into a special kind of fries there.
They have
But
sweet
they get
potato fries.
They are soggy immediately. They are wet and floppy and not good fries. And they try and distract you.
I like wet floppy fries.
Wow, look at all this shit I have. Now I won't talk about how bad they are.
The curly fries, I think maybe the nature of them, they get cooked longer. Not sure. But I share your dislike of wet sloppy fries. Mm-hmm. They need to be hot.
I prefer wet sloppy fries.
I like them overcooked.
Yeah, definitely. I prefer a nice crispy fry.
No.
That's why curly fries are always better. That's the best thing that Jack in the Box has over the rest, or the curly fry.
Arby's also has the curly fry, which I do like, but I like them when they're a little bit on the soft side. They cook them in peanut oil. They're not trying to cheap out on you. That's just their idea of a good fry.
No, that's for their meat.
No, they don't.
Oh, you're talking about right now. Sorry.
Yeah, they're not frying the meat.
You're talking about Chick-fil-A.
I thought he was saying Arby's was spending all their money cooking good curly fries and being like, no, keep the beef budget. Like,
I'm still on Five Guys fries. They use the peanut oil there.
Yeah,
that's why.
Doesn't Chick-fil-A use it on their fries?
Chick-fil-A also uses peanut oil. Yes.
You know what? I'm not.
Actually, they use this denatured peanut oil that's actually safe for people who have peanut allergies.
I don't care for that. I want the risky stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to know that only the genetically pure among us can consume these fries.
Are the genetically impure allergic to
with
peanuts?
Inferior genes may not enjoy the fry.
That's the Proud Boy way. Only peanut oil.
Like, so you're white supremacists. We are not so much concerned with race as much as what you cook the fry in and eating the fry. It's like, so white, once again, you're bringing up this is a club about French fries. How they are cooked. Once again, you ask me of President Trump. I am a French fry connoisseur.
Gourmet.
That's what I'm a sommelier. I mean, I love meltdown stuff like that. This is not for now. This is for Dick to enjoy later, hopefully, because I know Kyle's listened to the whole thing. The Lady Di internship.
She's so disgusting.
It's so funny. And dude, she is a hardcore alcoholic, like the kind of person who drinks from sunup to sundown.
Sure.
7 days a week, 365. And the last call she makes into the O&A show, which at that point Anthony had been fired. It was like right after Anthony was fired, and it was the Opie and Jim show. And she called in, and she had fully, I learned about this, I think, from this. It's called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. And it's where you drink so much that you become wet-brained, like you're a retarded person because of the... Yeah, it's very wet.
Too wet.
You get wet brain, which is just you poured so much alcohol over your synapses and stuff over the course of decades that you're just retarded now. And her last call into the ONJ show is her talking about how she's on a mission on a Navy ship.
Oh God!
Where they call her, she calls in like, "Lady Di, how are you doing? What's new?" And she's like, I'm on deployment. I'm here outside." And they're like, where are you? Where are you, Lady Di?" And they know she's not had a job since 1998.
Yeah,
it's 2015 at that point. And they're like, "So you're still doing that? Where are you docked? Where are you?" Jim's like, "Where are you docked, Lady Di?" She's like, I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'm docked. It's somewhere in the United States. We're in the United States." "Oh, so you're just sailing around the United States in a military vessel, are you?" Yeah, that's what we're doing right here. What's everybody talking about? And she's like talking to the other people in the insane asylum as it's happening. And they're like, "Can you ask her where you are?" And it's like, "Where are we? Where are we docked? Where are we docked?" And then some nurse is just like, "We're in New York." They're like, we're docked outside of New York. We're docked outside of New York right now. Like Jim and Opie are playing into it like, "Well, I mean, it's not easy. It's hard work being in the Navy." And she's like, oh yeah. It's hard work being in the Navy. And she got
service
fired from working at Budweiser in like 2001.
Oh no!
She got
a dream
at
job
Budweiser and got fired in like 2001. And they were like, "So everything no, just left the job right into the military, huh?" And she's like, "Well, no, I still work at Budweiser. I still work at Budweiser." It's like, "Oh, really? I thought you lost that job in 2001. Oh, no. Oh, no. I never lost that job. It is that interview in and of itself is actually pretty sad because you're watching someone who's lost their mind. But if you're an O&A buff and you watch the 15 years of her being in appearance, there are clips of her from 2003 being like, "I've been out of work for 2 years. I'm going to be fine. And she didn't end up being fine.
No.
Lots of funny content came out of it, though. I feel bad for her son. You know, she would often, or no, they would always make fun. They would play train soundboard clips because her first husband killed himself by jumping in front of a train.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was a real knee slapper every time they play that train horn.
Why are you doing that? That happened so many years ago. Why are you playing that?
Cry. Yeah, you wouldn't believe.
I think in LA we had local people. So after Stern, I'd go to Tom Likas or Heidi Frosty and Frank because I don't know, they were so big out here, and because we had radios when I was learning how to drive, so I got sucked into all those.
I never listened to any of those.
There was a really cool morning radio thing in Atlanta when I was out here selling cars in like 2005, 2006. But I want to say they like got bought by a major market and like LA bought them, or I don't know, somebody else bought them and bought their show.
They got wiped out. All of talk radio, it seemed like all of talk radio across the country got wiped out at the same time, bought out and then dismantled like Roger Rabbit.
It was a cool show. Like there was like three main. There was a guy, a girl, and then kind of a loser. And the loser they would send out on the streets to do things called Torture Tuesday, where he would have to do like humiliating public, like he'd have to panhandle, and he couldn't stop until he had $50 or something like that. Or he'd have to get on top of a car and drive around I-285 in Atlanta. And, you know, honk if you see Benji out. He'll be on the roof of a Hyundai. He's strapped down. And then, like, I want to say that, like,
dude, that's not nearly as brutal as the O&A things. They would have, like, listeners go find Lady Di by the train tracks in Newark. And they would try and go find her. And there was that video I linked you, 33 minutes in, out of nowhere. She's not even being questioned. She goes, I have something to say. I have something to tell you guys. In the 80s, I let my boyfriend fuck me in the ass every weekend in a car. It's like, what? The entire 80s? She's like, yeah, in the 80s, he let me stay with him, and so I let him use me in the ass every weekend in a car. And they're like, always in a car? He's like, yeah, it was usually in a car. Really? So you just do that all the time? He's like, yeah. Well, it was the 80s. Taylor. It was the 80s. It was, and so she got fucked, and they were like, why would you bring this up? She's like, I just wanted you guys to know that I got fucked in the ass in the 80s. The entire 80s.
The entirety of the 80s.
All of Metallica's Rise and Fall. She was getting fucked in
the entire Reagan administration, just right up the ass.
Dude, you punch my head, it's going to be like when you see those armored trucks drive into those concrete pylons that come out of the ground. Your hand will crumple like a piece of paper. It's my head. You have no idea the density here. My neck muscles, so strong.
We measured our skulls the other day. What was your measurement?
I blew you guys out of the water.
What do you like?
His skull was at least an inch or two bigger than my skull.
No, Dick, you don't know. I did this was like months and months ago, but I was like, yeah, for 2,000 subs on Twitch, I'm gonna buy a caliper, and then go to a Phrenology website with documents from, you know, the mid 1800s, and then see where I line up. And so much of it was like, how to tell you're an honest man. Measure your head and see if it fits into these parameters. How does your nose look? And it would literally be a picture of a man from side profile with a straight nose, and it would say honest man. And then it would say a side profile of someone with a crooked nose, and it would say be wary of the deceptive individual. Like that. Oh, wow.
That sounds anti-Semitic. Yeah. Is that what you're seeing?
Whoa, you can get into that however you want.
Beware of the very cheap man.
Beware of. But did you go on the human scale, Taylor, or did you have to go to the bear scale or something?
No, I stayed on the human scale. I was just, and like there was a list of about 20 to 25 measurements that you would take, and it was like here to here, top to bottom, and like the first couple, I was like, oh, this is like a fun meme. I'm in. And I would give percentiles. So I was in the 99th percentile, the 100th percentile, a couple of them, and I was like the 105th percentile. And then after like 10 of those tests, I was like, oh no, like my head really is as big as the memes are talking about. Like I'm blowing out the readings on this. Like it would be like from here to here, X amount of inches. And I remember taking that one and going, I'll probably be pretty normal here. And then I looked at it and was like, looked at the scale, looked at it, that can't be right. That can't be right. There's no way my head is bigger than 600 out of 601 peoples on this planet. There's no way the numbers add up that way. And it did.
Rocky IV, like with the meter just climbing up. His tail.
That was pretty much it. And it turned out that on average, I think I'm in like the 99 point something percentile of average head of head size. And so, it's
sorry.
True. Yeah.
You have to wear 2 hats.
I wear 2 hats, but they're like over here, like two different sides to try and keep it on. One united bill.
Do you ever wear hats?
Never. They don't fit on me.
Okay, fair enough.
Do they really never fit on you?
No, I can wear hats. It's just like my head is so big it looks silly.
It's like,
there's no reason for me to be like, look at this.
Once.
Like, yeah, wear a hat once. I got one. I leave the sticker on. It says 8.5.
Oh my god.
Not really. That would be absurd, but yeah, I'm definitely.
Do you blow out the neck hole on your shirts?
Ooh,
do you have
oh my god,
problems?
I do. I blow out the neck hole on my shirts pretty often. That's why Carhartt has been great. This retains this elasticity like no one's business. Regular shirts, no chance. These Carhartt, made for people who do work that I don't do on a day-to-day basis, this can handle my sweatiness and my nonsense.
Remember Seinfeld when George had borrowed that guy's sweater and had stretched the neck hole all out?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's the show I need to go back and rewatch again. Like, it has been years since I've had a solid Seinfeld rewatch, and that show it cracks my shit up. I love it.
Oh, dude, my girlfriend had. Go ahead.
I was saying I watched it last year all the way through. Yeah.
My girlfriend had never seen it, so like I got to sit her down and watch the entire thing, and it's from episode 1 till. I didn't want to show her the series finale, but. You know, I had to.
It's not that bad.
Oh, it's worse. It's even worse seeing it and like going through, like seeing it through the person you're watching it with's eyes and just realizing exactly why it was so fucked up. It was a great experience, though.
I hear you watching that finale, but also like I see it like Seinfeld cashed out through the parachute, ended it. And that was the right move, even if the ending kind of sucked and it was just them being like, oh, you didn't protect John Panette from being fat across the street or whatever it was. But they didn't do what It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did, which is continue for 3 extra seasons they don't need and make tremendously unfunny episodes when compared to their previous
it's
catalog.
been rough.
And so like that, I would much rather it be like Seinfeld where they cash out with a kind of half-assed conclusion, as opposed to It's Always Sunny, where they just drag it out. It's getting less and less funny by the season.
Have you ever seen the reunion episode they did on Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I love that one. I love piece that they actually figured out a way to do it without making it cringe.
Yeah, they do a Seinfeld reunion episode on Curb Your Enthusiasm with, the full cast of Seinfeld.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. I mean, I still have quite a few seasons of Curb to get through.
Yeah, it's much later on.
I think I only watched the first 2.5, maybe 3.
Oh, it gets so much better, dude. Like spoiler, she divorces him.
Really? His wife divorced him?
Because he's a piece of shit and starts dating Ted Danson. She's like dating Ted Danson and like he's just, his life becomes real shitty. But the black guy who's living in his house, Leon, he just stays. So now it's like him and Leon living, like, even though Leon's whole family has moved out. Leon was only there because there was a fucking hurricane and he needed somewhere to stay. Like, the hurricane's been gone for a decade. Leon's still there.
I'm sure it's hilarious because Curb is great. Like, Larry David really showed that he was the genius behind that show by making Curb. Man,
I mean, it's still good. And they're like 10 seasons in or whatever. Like this previous season with the Spite store, where he just creates like, here's this billionaire Jewish guy who gets mad at the local coffee vendor, and so he buys the retail space right next door and opens Latte Larry's and drops the prices cheap as fuck. So Mocha Joe is over there having to lower his coffee down 10 cents, and then Larry lowers his 10 cents, and back and forth and back and forth. And Larry's improved on all of the, Larry's like, every table should have Purell on it, and because he's a germaphobe, and every table should be bolted to the floor because I'm tired of wobbly tables. It's fucking great.
Man, you're starting on new shows and you haven't even finished Curb. What are you doing? You got to finish your dinner before you get dessert, man.
I should. I take most of my recommendations from Kyle and Woody here on my media consumption, and I find myself like, I have a basement gym with my TV and everything, and so often it'll be like, what do I want to watch and listen to while I'm working out? King of the Hill again.
Or Opie and Anthony.
I listen to it. If you took the amount of hours I spend listening to old Opie and Anthony clips throughout a week, it would be a full-time job. Like, just always my background sound when I'm cleaning the kitchen, when I'm doing whatever, it's all old Opie and Anthony bits. I've been going through the Lady Di saga again. That's hilarious.
Opie add much to the show, because I know you're a big Anthony fan.
Yeah, huge Anthony and Jim Norton fan. Opie never sucked me in as part of the show. He would, if anything, he often ruined bits because Jim and Anthony would be like riff, 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 riff.